Hi, I'm Dr. Kelly Barron, and welcome to the Kellfire Show. Today, my lovely guest, my heroic, inspirational guest, is Miss Lori Bayer. And Lori is a breast cancer survivor. She beat breast cancer in 2018, and she is also the founder of the Swing for the Lowcountry, which we will talk about in just a little bit. But Lori, thank you so much for coming on, and I can't wait to hear your story. So whenever you're ready, hit us with it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Kelly. It's an honor to be here. You know, I know that everything happens for a reason, and it was amazing how I found you, or actually, you guys found me, and it happened at just the right time. And so I love how that happens. I'd love to get started just talking about how wonderful things are today, but
I love that.
But there's a journey behind that. You know, when I'm thinking about all of the experience and choices that all of us make. Some things happen to us, some things happen for us. And I know that if I could change any of the things, that I wouldn't, because every one of those experiences have molded and shaped me and taught me the lessons I needed and made me the woman I am today. So, having said that, I would like to just talk about menopause, even though I have no idea anything about menopause. I'm already through it, but I was living in the Middle East in my late 40s, and it was like living on the sun. I mean, it's hot. I didn't know if I was having a hot flash because I was living on the sun or if it was menopause. And so I went to the doctor, and she was like, yeah, your hormones are decreasing, you're in perimenopause. So I was like, okay, whatever that means. Because I was irritable, I was hot, I was moody, and anxiety. I'd never had anxiety, and here it comes.
How old were you during that time period?
47.
Oh, you were right on time.
Right on time. So she suggested I go on hormone replacement therapy, and I didn't do any research. I don't need to research. If someone suggests something, it sounded good, I did it. Well, I had a wonderful year and a half. I mean, I felt great. Hot flashes went away, my irritability went away, my anxiety lessened, and I felt good. And, you know, again, it worked. It was a good solution. And through a series of events and documentaries, TV, my husband had seen something, and he said, you know, I think you should reconsider this and look at it. So we talked about it. I did end up going off of hormone replacement, and then, and as you know, the symptoms all came back. And then we moved here to Daniel Island. And so by now I'm in my early 50s. And menopause is really kicking in. And then December of 22nd, 2017, I get that phone call from my doctor and says, you have breast cancer.
Did you go in for a routine mammogram when they found it?
I had been going in for routine mammograms since I was 35.
Okay.
Because I have these dense breasts. I'm sure everyone is really excited about
Talk to
hearing
us.
about that. And so I had been doing this, and my sister's brother-in-law is a radiologist, so he's been reviewing my mammograms when we lived in the country and out of the country for years, and he said everything's routine. So yes, I had gone in 16, everything was fine. I went a year later in 17, and I had a mass.
That fast?
1 year.
How big was the mass?
2 centimeters, small.
Yeah.
But I was like stage 1.5, but small. But it was enough to say you have breast cancer and something has to be done about it.
I can't even imagine getting that phone call.
It was scary, but because I didn't know what to expect and what was coming, I was like, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, let's go, we can do this. So I put on my God, those are big girl panties, and I went for it. So I'd have to say that it all started like in January with the surgery, and then I had chemo, and then I had radiation, and those 9 or 10 months, I will have to say, have been the hardest in my life. I've never had a baby. I've never spent the night in a hospital. I hadn't had anything really major happen to me, and then this happened. And when cancer knocks on your door and then you have to fight it, the treatment I know it saved my life, and I'm grateful for that. But the treatment is really as difficult as having cancer.
I've heard of that. So the surgery that you had, was it just to remove the cancer? Did you have mastectomies? And you don't have to share if you don't want to.
No, that's fine. I had a lumpectomy, and then I had some lymph nodes removed under my right arm. And then it was funny. We met with a plastic surgeon, my husband and I, and he said, look, we can, all for the price of breast cancer, we can give you a tummy tuck, and we can take that tissue, and we can give you some nice firm breast. But it's going to be 2 or 3 surgeries. And as soon as I heard that, I said, no. And he was like, really? He said, you're young, you're 54, and I said, no, I don't want that. Because, breasts are really super important, but I just thought it would be too painful to go through a lot of surgeries. So I got a lumpectomy, then I had a reduction at the same time and a small lift, and that's where we are today.
Yeah, but good, you got a treat.
Yes, I got a treat, and it's fun, and it was easy, but the recovery was harder than I thought, but I did recover, and I think that it was harder than I thought because I knew what was coming next. If I just had surgery, I probably could have recovered quickly, but I had surgery knowing I had breast cancer and that I had to still go through chemo and radiation.
Well, you had told me when we were talking earlier, you had brought up that, and I think I'm jumping ahead a little bit, so I apologize, that when they rang the bell, that the world just assumes, or most people fall away and they go, you did it. Right. You beat it. You did it. And that's honestly, though, really when the fight began.
Right. Yeah, you get to ring the bell twice if you're super lucky. I was super lucky. So after chemo, I got to ring the bell, and after radiation, I got to ring the bell again. The treatment has ended. When the bell rings, that treatment has ended. But what hasn't ended is your body recovering from 4 doses of powerful chemo and then from 20 sessions of radiation. So you have a long road, and it really took me until the end of 19 to physically, to emotionally recover from breast cancer. And trust me, along the way, it was a lot of laughter. It was a lot of fun. Not that chemo's fun, but there's so many funny stories. When you're sitting there and they've got you all hooked up on the IV, and you look across the room, and here comes the nurse, and she has on a hazmat suit from head to toe, including her hands. She's covered, and she's bringing a life-saving treatment to me. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh boy. And I said, why are you dressed like that? She said, well, it'll kill me, meaning her. She said, but this is going to save your life.
What goes through your brain when you hear that?
It's really is terrifying. You're sitting there, and she's walking through in a hazmat suit. And this is what it's getting ready to curse through my veins to save my life.
No, every time? Did they come in the hazmat suit?
Yes, every time.
That was the radiation or the chemo?
Chemo.
The chemo. How many chemo sessions did you
4.
have? So 4 times you had to witness this.
4 times.
Going,
yeah.
You have to wear protection because it'll kill you. But bring it over here. Come on. Give it to me.
It's going to save my life. And so that was, you kind of had to laugh, else you would have been terrified. And it is terrifying, and it's 4 or 5 hours. And the first time I went, I really wanted to put on my headphones and disappear and pretend I wasn't there. And this woman who was sitting beside me, she said, you're a chemo virgin, aren't you? And I was like, I am. Thanks for recognizing that. And she said, she just started talking to me. And she was in far worse shape than I was in. And she had been going longer treatment. So you know what? In that moment, I was like, all right, thank you, God. I have an opportunity to build a relationship with a woman sitting there, and we could build a bridge over cancer,
Right.
And so instead of closing up and walling myself in, because I do like to talk and I do like people, I made a friend. And so that was nice.
Well, you were also telling me that while most people, we talked about this, would, and I sincerely don't mean this in a bad way, being a victim myself, you embrace the victim role because it's so overwhelming that you almost swirl down into that feeling, and you can't find your way out of it, and you just say, you know what, I'm a victim and this is the way I'm going to live my life. And you were saying how you made a very conscious choice to approach it the opposite way. And if you could tell some of those stories or how you did that, because I found it incredible.
Well, I was very public about my breast cancer in my community, and I live here on Daniel Island, and in all of my friends, my family. So I put it out there because I needed energy from other people. I needed prayers. So I put it out there. I was honest. And I had it's not really a blog, but it was an email post that I would send about every month to over 100 people. And I used a lot of humor. And I told a lot of funny stories. But I also told them that I was in pain and that I did need support. Because if people don't know what you're going through, they can't really support you.
Right.
And there's a lot of people who face breast cancer differently. Some people never talk about it. I've never stopped talking about it. And the women, what was so powerful is that my community and my friends and my family surrounded me. And the women will always tell me the truth about myself. The women save me when I need help. And they understand. And if they don't understand, they say they don't understand. And I hope that people don't have to go through breast cancer. But I didn't realize that breast cancer was going to change my life. And it was going to change me. And sitting here 6 years later, I'm really a different person. I feel different. I look different. I behave different. I interact with the world differently because I do see that chance that I am immortal. Is that the right word?
Mortal.
I am mortal.
I'm immortal. No.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sorry.
Actually,
She's
you're
immortal.
We're all
I'm
immortal.
mortal. There we go. See? Because you do think about that. You do think, is it going to come back? Why did I survive and someone else didn't? So I do have to look at the world differently now. And I had no idea that breast cancer was going to have that impact on me.
Is it still there, that feeling? Do you still question, when is it going to come back? Is it going to come back? Or is that something you've been able to just put in a little box and put away?
It goes in a box and it comes out every year when I have to have a mammogram or an MRI.
Oh, yeah.
It comes back out. When you go to the appointment and they're going to read your results, it comes back.
And what do you do to try to deal with that? Is there things that you do? Is there self-talks you give yourself, or a special ritual that you do to kind of get yourself in that right mindset, or do you just wing it every time?
I used to talk myself up a lot. Often I'm like, okay, God, we're going for a mammogram. Here's the address. I hope you can show up. Just like today. We're going to meet CAL FIRE again. Please show up. I hope I got the address right. And so it's gotten easier and easier because I don't want to live in fear. I have a wonderful life and I want to be able to serve women and give back, and I can if I'm in fear. But I do live with a lot of anxiety that I never had before, and some of the things, and this is vain, I know it's vain, so I'll just say it.
You're allowed to be vain.
Thank you. Is like losing my hair was also a very traumatic experience in breast cancer because you sort of identify what you look like to the outside world, and I had long kind of dark brown, reddish, thick hair, like a mane, and that was really painful because I look at myself and people are like, your hair is so cute, it's adorable, I love it, and I'm sure they do, but if I had my choice, I'd have something different, but I don't. I embrace this. You know, I didn't go back to the salon and get my hair colored. I tried to grow it out. Oh my God, it is it's thick and curly, and it's a big salt and pepper afro. It's not attractive.
No, I think you should rock it. Like, I think you should bring that back. And did it change? Did the texture and everything change because of chemo and radiation? I mean, salt and pepper that's natural process, but
yes, I think so. I think now it's really kind of a lot kinkier. It's a lot curlier.
You could bring back disco. You just bring that back in disco, and I don't know.
I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna wear a wig for you then, and we'll just pretend it happened.
Did you ever wear what? You said you shaved your head. Did you shave your head prior to? Did you just say, I know it's going to happen and I'm going to shave my head? Or at what point did you say you did that?
I'd had my first chemo in March of 18 after I recovered from surgery. And we had a trip planned to Paris that had already been scheduled. And so I asked my oncologist, do you think I can go on this trip? And he said, absolutely, you should go. But he suggested that I wear a mask and wear gloves on the plane. Mm-hmm. So I started wearing a mask before it was cool to wear a mask in 2020. So we went. But my hair was thinning out from the first chemo. So I was like 3 weeks in and my hair was falling out. So I would wake up and it would be on my pillow. And I knew that I couldn't get on an airplane and wake up from a 6-hour flight or 8-hour flight and then there'd be hair on the seat. I knew that it was really painful. So I called my hairdresser and I went over the day we were flying. Actually, I remember the day, it was March 22nd. And she shaved my head. And I came home and I put on this black outfit with black boots and this black jacket and a bunch of jewelry. I have a really cute picture. I'll send it to you. And I went to the airport with my husband, and I was as bald as could be.
How did you feel?
Great.
You felt great?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was fine. I bought a wig. Oh my God, a wig is such a disaster. Well, first of all, if you touch, I'm keeping my hands down because I don't have any hair to touch anymore. So, but if you touch your hair, and you have on a wig, and you've got a bald head, I mean, it slides around. So I'd touch it and my wig, it would go sideways. So I did take it to Paris. I did wear it for like 3 or 4 hours in the hotel room. And I said, I'm not wearing this. And my husband said, you don't need to wear it. So being bald in Paris, I mean, I fit in.
You must have been chic and
I
trendy.
was chic. I was trendy. I fit in.
I love that.
So I spent the whole first week bald in Paris, and then I came home, and I never wore the wig. I was bald for like 9 months.
That is so freeing. Scary.
It was freeing.
And it's not vain, because I think a lot of, we'll use breast cancer because it's so prevalent in the news and the media, but cancers of any type where you have to go through chemo and radiation. Women, because we put a lot of stock in how we look, that those things, losing your hair, changes in your breast, things like that are just, I think that's scarier than the cancer itself. Right. That's what, because this hair, if I've often thought about that, if I had to go bald and shave, I don't know, I would feel like I'd lose a part of myself and my identity, like you said. So I think that that's a really big thing. The fact that you put on your hot Catwoman looking outfit and strutted your way to the airport into Paris, I hope if I'm ever in a situation like that I can embrace that too, because that's badass. That's awesome.
I hope you don't have to, but you can.
Yeah.
You definitely can.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. I hope you don't. But just pray you don't lose your eyebrows too.
Oh!
So then they yeah, my
Did that happen too?
Yeah, they never came back. This is microblading.
It looks great,
yeah,
by the way.
Yeah, she did a great job.
It looks, so, when did your eyebrows go? Or did you just take them off at
No, they fell out and never grew back.
Eyelashes?
No, they stayed.
They stayed?
They stayed. It's weird.
Leg hair? Came back? Damn.
Yeah. Not much. Everything came back a lot less, including my hair. I mean, everything came back less. But it's, for a year, I tried to draw on my eyebrows, and that was a real disaster. But you don't realize when you look in the mirror and you don't have eyebrows. I mean, it's very funny. It's really funny looking. And then by the end of radiation, due to that treatment or end of chemo rather, due to all the steroids and stuff, so I had this big round moon face with no hair and no eyebrows.
I hope
So,
you documented it with
I
pictures.
did. I have lots of pictures, and the funny thing over the years, because I can laugh about it now, but Facebook constantly shows you how it used to be.
Yeah, your memories.
So that was painful, and sometimes it still is, because pictures pop up, and I see who I was, and so I really had to accept and embrace who I am now, and but honestly, it's still painful. It's still painful.
Who is Lori now? If you could describe yourself in either a few adjectives or a sentence, who are you now?
I would say I'm passionate, I'm determined, I'm willing to work all the time to help serve other women who are going through breast cancer. I'm also imperfectly human.
So you're imperfectly perfect.
I'm imperfectly perfect.
Exactly.
I'm imperfectly perfect. Exactly.
And because perfect is boring. It's boring.
Yeah, perfect
But
is boring.
imperfectly perfect makes you who you are, makes you unique.
Exactly. So I would say I am different. I do have a bit of an edge to me, and I think that's coming from anxiety. So I have to work to pray and meditate, and I have to get enough rest, which my brain likes to work a lot of overtime, so sometimes it doesn't allow me to rest. I need to get a lot of exercise. I need to drink a lot of water. I need to do all those things to be still. Like breast cancer, I went from going and doing all the time to I stayed at home for over a year. So it put the brakes on. And it took me a long time to get back going. And then, of course, our world put the brakes on again with COVID. And so I was already prepared. I was already used to being in isolation. But I really do feed off of people and my environment. So that's been important to be back in my community and doing things. But I also had to learn, there was moments that there's nothing that stood between myself and breast cancer. I mean, nothing. Like, no one can lay on that radiation table, and no one could go to chemo for me. But I knew that, my sense of God and my spirituality really had to be plugged in. So I would say I became a human being, and I would say now, with things ramping up in my life, especially with our foundation, that I sometimes am a human doing, and I need to make sure I level that out.
That was some of the thing that was you already started to answer my question, was what changes lifestyle-wise or wellness or self-care did you have to make once now that you're in your survivor stage? How have you changed that part of your life?
This is kind of, it leads up to that. I said to my oncologist during chemo, I said, I thought chemo was going to be a great way to lose weight, And I said, I'm the heaviest person in here. And he looked at me and he said, you're happy and you're healthy, and when you're able to eat, you can. And I just burst out laughing. And he said, don't worry about it. Because a lot of people were in there struggling and couldn't eat. Mm-hmm. So I did gain about 50 pounds through 18 and 19. I did have to take an aromatase inhibitor for 5 years, which I ended a year ago. That wreaks complete havoc on your body. So I found my way to a personal trainer in 2020, early 2020. I lost the 50 pounds.
Oh, that's amazing.
I started exercising at least 3 days a week. I golf 3 or 4 days a week. One of the things that I picked up when I had to stay at home for almost a year was stitching, like cross stitch and needlepoint. And so I made fun of myself because I'm like, I'm an old lady in the shoe. I mean, I'm sitting over there like old lady in the shoe working on some handicraft. But it kept me still and it kept me focused. It gave me something to do. And that's been rewarding. I love to read. I like to work in my yard. So still, I mean, food has still always been a journey for me still. You know, I either eat too much, I rarely eat too little. But today, I'm really working on being okay with exactly who I am and where I am right now. I don't want to say if I lost 20 pounds, if my hair was this, if I was this. I'm really just trying to be exactly who I am and be okay with that. Because it's so freeing. You know, I get stuck with old ideas in my head that are wrong. I mean, they're so wrong. And that's why I know that I'm not my outer body. I know I'm not this appearance. I know that I'm the person inside me who is passionate, who is kind, who is loving, who's willing to help people. I know I'm that. I know I'm a good person. But on the outside, I see sometimes something different. And I don't want to fight that. I don't want to fight anything, really.
And that's been the common theme with every woman that's come on here that's had a battle they had to go through. They all ended in almost the same way, that they are learning to be okay with who they are and to not be judgmental and of themselves and to grow confident in who they are now. Right. And love that person, because that's what you're going to walk through. That's your body. That's your mind. I love that. If there's one piece of advice that you could give a woman that's going through, and nobody's journey is the same,
right,
but through a journey similar to this, what would you say?
I became very selfish in a positive way going through breast cancer. I stayed at home. I didn't take visitors if I didn't need visitors. I didn't keep engagements that I didn't want to keep. I really took care of myself. And I would say everyone experiences it differently, but for me, the more people that could know about it, that could help me, and also if I could just be still and do exactly what you need to do for yourself, because the fight can be physical, but after the fight and the treatment has ended, it becomes very emotional. And so I would say take care of yourself. Just take care of yourself.
That's probably the most powerful thing, and the hardest for women to learn, because we equate doing things for ourselves as selfish.
Right.
Because we're so used to taking care of your children, your spouse, your family members. So anything outside of that you do for yourself, we just say, oh, we're just being selfish, and that's so not true.
Right.
So that's fantastic advice, actually. I love that. Let's get into the exciting part, the foundation, which I'm so excited, and I'm glad that we all met over the foundation and the great things that you're doing with it. So give us a little history on the foundation and where we are today.
Yeah, I would have to say the swing has definitely been my silver lining to breast cancer. I took something that I didn't ask for, that was hard and painful. I did the best I could with it, and now I have the opportunity to really give back, to serve, to grow, and to make a positive experience out of this. So in 2019, when I was feeling better in the fall, we started doing some fundraisers here on Daniel Island, and we worked in 19, and then of course 20 we didn't do anything. In 21 we had another fundraiser, and all this time in 19, 21, 22 we were donating the money to other charities locally. And in 2023, we thought, we listened to our donors, and we said, we want to start our own foundation because we want to be accountable and transparent to the people who are funding us. And we want to support women in the Lowcountry. So we created the swing, and what we serve is we want to make sure that women have gas in their tanks, they have groceries on their table, they have childcare for their children, their rent is paid, the lights are on, the water's flowing, and they're not worried about how they're going to pay a bill. Because I know that to get through breast cancer, I can't imagine that I had to go to work. I can't imagine I would have to cook dinner. I can't imagine I have to cook dinner, period. Sick or not sick. But these women, so we are helping these women with things that, insurance doesn't cover any of that.
Right.
And when you can't go to work for a week, all the bills still happen. And I talked to my oncologist, and I said, what are some of the reasons people don't come back? And he said, they can't afford their copay.
For treatment?
Yes. Or they don't have someone to keep their child so they can come to chemo, or they don't have gas. And that really broke my heart. So that's where the swing started. And that's exactly what we're doing. So we've partnered with MUSC, and there are other nonprofit hospitals, and they're dispersing the money. Because due to HIPAA and a lot of regulations, we can't really get to the patient, and we don't need to, because I don't need to manage that part. I need to be out here fundraising and getting these women excited. So our foundation is up and running. We've been over a year now. Up until last year, we'd raised $400,000, and it's just a couple women putting this together. This year, our event is coming up Monday, November 28th.
October.
Oh, did I say November?
Yeah.
Oh no, October.
Because I'm not.
You're gonna miss it.
I'm not gonna run around in the cold in November.
You are absolutely gonna miss it then. And so we've been working all year. We've been working all year on the event, and I mean, it's going to be amazing. We'll sell out. October 7th, registration opens. We'll sell out 300 women that day.
Well, tell us a little about, I know, and it's going to be a fantastic day. I'm so excited. But tell a little bit about what happens on this day. Like, you're doing this fundraiser, but really, it's also such a big community thing to bring women together. So go ahead and give us a little itinerary rundown.
It's all of these women, and a lot of the women live on Daniel Island. Not everyone lives here, but they're all coming together. Women supporting women. It's a camaraderie. They're supporting someone who they've lost, someone going through the journey. We start at 7 in the morning. We have both golf courses at the Daniel Island Club. So we've got 152 golfers. We have 60 women playing tennis for 2.5 hours. We've got 48 women playing pickleball for 3 hours. And then everyone, descends on the ballroom around 1 o'clock. And there's 300 women. People are dressed in pink. Everyone's, hugging, kissing, and laughing and having a glass of wine. And everyone there believes in what we're doing, wants to give back to these women, and it's just, you'll see, there's so much chemistry, and there's the air's electric, and until you're actually in the room, it's hard to describe. And we're all there for the same reason. And we have silent auction, we have raffles, we have a live auction, we have Fund the Need. I mean, it's amazing. And so that happens for like 2.5 hours. So the day starts at 7 and I get home about 5 o'clock.
That's a big day.
And we'll have raised, I have a feeling that we're going to raise well over $300,000 just this year.
You guys need to help her get to that mark. What's the website? Tell everybody the website.
Theswing.org. Is our website.
There's a donate button on there, correct?
Yeah.
So if you're from a different state, you could still donate to this cause.
Yes, if you can't come to the event, we would love a donation. All the money stays local. 90 cents of every dollar that we spend is spent on a breast cancer patient. I mean, we are a very tight and frugal organization. I mean, we are here to serve these women. So on the website, you can register to come to the event. You can make a donation. You can see all about us. You can watch our video. There's just a lot more information there.
And we're going to try to put up some clips from the day. I will not be golfing or tennis or pickleball because apparently my skills aren't there yet. But I will be driving around on a golf cart. But I'm just really interested in talking to everyone and getting more people's stories and how this event is going to go. It's going to be such a worthy cause, so much fun. Well, before we wrap up, and if there's anything else you'd like to say, please do say it.
Oh, I think that's a lot. I think I've said enough.
You could say a lot more.
I have a lot more words, but I don't think we have that kind of time.
All right, so I'm going to hit you with the 3 podcast ending questions.
Okay.
So, if you could describe your journey with a mocktail, a cocktail, anything, does not have to have alcohol in it, what drink would you name your journey after?
That's a great question. I think, because water is not exciting, so I'm not suggesting water.
Yeah, no.
I'd say an Arnold Palmer.
Oh, I like that.
Do you know what that is?
I do know. That's iced tea
right.
and lemonade. Right, I did that.
Yes, because, of course, it's obvious I'm a Southerner, so I grew up on sweet tea. And what I love about lemonade is that twangy, tangy tartness. And what happens when life gives you lemons? We make something positive with lemonade. So we've got the sweet with the tea and the tangy with the lemonade. So I'd say an Arnold Palmer, and I'm a golfer.
I was just going to say, and it's the swing.
And it's the swing.
It makes perfect sense.
It all falls in place.
Okay, if you could name your journey after a movie, a book, a poem, something that's out there that's published, what would you name it?
Well, we certainly wouldn't want it to call it the Titanic.
I don't know. That's my life.
I don't think that would be a movie, a book.
Yeah, a poem, a song. No, don't use song yet.
No. Wow. Ooh,
or if you just create your own.
Well, I could create my own. I could create my own title. I would say "Rising Up like a Phoenix from the Ashes."
I like that.
Could you make a poem out of that?
I'm sure there's probably a poem about it. There's probably books. We're gonna go with that.
Maybe Rachel will sing a song for us.
Rachel, you want to sing a song for us? She's like, no. I made it through this podcast this long today without them mentioning me, and no. Okay, last question. A song. So if you could give a theme song to this journey of yours, what would you give it? And it's going to go on the Kel Fire Show playlist on Spotify.
Oh, fun. Okay. My sister-in-law sent me a playlist when I was diagnosed. She lives in Washington State, with like 30 songs. And for 6 years, not hardly a day has gone by I have not listened to that playlist. And it's a whole range of songs that she picked just for me, which is amazing. So one of the songs that really resonates, it's a little bit funny, is Mayer, what's his name?
John Mayer?
John Mayer, "Stop This Train."
Oh, I like that.
And the lyrics are sort of, I'm not going to sing because that would really ruin the show.
No, it'd be awesome.
It's like, stop this train. I want to get off and go home again.
I love that.
And I would say that during the journey, that's how I felt. I don't feel that way now, but during the journey, I wanted the train to stop and I wanted to go home.
How do you feel now? If you
I feel
like a song.
I feel like a friend just sent me a song yesterday, and it's entitled "Everything."
Oh.
And I feel everything. And I think her name was Lauren, something with a D.
I'll look it up.
Yes, it's a beautiful song, but it's everything. I feel everything, and that's good because a lot of times we walk through this world not feeling anything. And now I feel everything.
It's like
And I
living.
believe in everything.
It's living in all 5 senses.
Living in all 5 senses.
So Shauna, that was on the last podcast or the one before, she said she strives every day to live in all 5 of her senses. And I fell in love with that. And I say I'd add a 6th because women have intuition. I'd say that's one of our gifts that we have. But yeah, living in all 5 of your senses, everything.
The artist is Lauren Daigle.
Yes.
Lauren Daigle?
Yes.
Sure was on there.
Yes, that's her. It's beautiful.
That's Oz.
Someone just sent it to me. Yeah.
That's Oz behind
Thank
the
you, Oz,
curtain. Thank you, Oz, behind the curtain.
Behind the curtain came the answer. Perfect.
She's the most important character in this whole thing.
Perfect.
Well, Lori, thank you so much for coming on. And
Kelly.
anytime you want to come on, if you're like, you know what, I got something to say, please do come on. It's so much fun to talk to you. It's so much fun to be standing next to someone who is a warrior and has a sense of humor and has that zest for life, and just, I want to be like you when I grow up. I do.
Thank you.
I know. I'm old though.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And so October 28th, don't forget to go website again.
Theswing.org.
Swing. I don't know why I haven't memorized that. Theswing.org. We'll also be putting stuff on social media. Donate, help these women out, and just a big congratulations, Lori, to your journey, everything you've done, everything you've. Oh, I'm going to cry. Oh, this is happening. Everything you've battled through, and what you're doing now.
Thank you.
Why does this happen, Rachel? Every time. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. Keep listening and stay up to date on Lori.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Why do I cry? I just got so into your story for that split